have to apologize about the glare. These are new glasses. They're very glary. Not much I can do about it. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. If it's the first video that you're watching, welcome to my channel. My name's Jess. And the other book that I'm really excited to read this month that I've already started has come in. I've already started. I haven't started it. It just came out of my library. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. Welcome back to another video. I realize I'm about a week late with my January TBR. And what can I say? I was away and just, I don't know, I think I had the January scaries. I think I had the 2025 scaries. It extended to my book plan, my reading plans for the month. But that's okay, I'm over them now. And I do have somewhat of a TBR. It is not a huge TBR for a variety of different reasons, which I'll get into over the course of the video. I've tried to keep things fairly reasonable in terms of my January TBR because in the past I've made massive TBRs and felt really bad about not being able to read everything on the TBR. And on the one hand, I feel like that is the fun of making a TBR, but on the other hand, I've noticed that it's created a lot of anxiety for me. So I'm trying to curtail that a little bit by making smaller TBRs for myself. And I will talk more about that in an upcoming video where I talk about channel plans for 2025, which I do have a few projects that I want to pursue in 2025. And I have some ideas for vlogs and other content, which I will talk about. And I have some more exciting news, but you'll have to wait for that. A little bit of a secret, not even secret, but just another project that I want to tell you about coming up. But let me talk about the first project of the month, which you might already know about if you've watched some of my other videos, and that is I'm hosting a read-along for the Books of Jacob by Olga Tokarczuk. We're starting in about a week's time. I did make an announcement video about this, so if you're curious about it, please do check it out. I will leave it linked in the description box below. There's also no need though. If you're curious and you would like to join in on the read-along, you can just send me a message on Voxer and I will add you to the group. The approximate time frame that we're looking at is about 10 to 12 weeks, and the commitment is around 100 pages a week. So the Books of Jacob is considered to be Olga Tokarczuk's masterpiece. It was listed for the International Booker Prize, I think in 2023, and it follows our protagonist Jacob as he crosses the Habsburg and Ottoman empires, gathering followers along the way, as well as enemies, frenemies. He changes religion along the way. He really goes on this very big journey. And the book itself is divided into 7 books. So we follow his journey, and that's really all I'm going to say about it now. Really looking forward to this one, and I really do hope you would consider joining me. I find that tackling big books like this is always better in a group. I always finish the book when I'm reading it in a read-along like this, and I always find that the reading experience is that much more valuable. So please consider it if you're curious about reading this one. And this will be one of my big books for 2025 because I am going to join Karina's reading challenge, the Big Book Reading Challenge. Oh, she's over on Instagram. I will leave her information linked below. She always has a Big Book Reading Challenge every year, challenging us to read the big chunkers. So this would count as my translated work for that challenge. So that's one project that I have on my plate for 2025. I'll be talking about the rest of my reading plans, reading goals, channel plans, all of that in an upcoming video. I only have 4 other books chosen out to read this month. One of them is for Scott from over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, his book club. That's The Vegetarian by Kang. I missed out on reading this book over the years, and it's been recommended to me on multiple occasions by friends. It's been praised. She just won the Nobel Prize. So very much looking forward to diving into what I think is a very strange story about a woman who is a vegetarian, which is really all I know about it. But I haven't even read the back. It's a short, slim book, and I'll be, I don't know if I could say excited to read this, but I'm definitely curious to read this one. It does, I will just read the quote from Ian McEwan on the front. It says, "A novel of sexuality and madness that deserves its great success." So if that's not intriguing, I'm not sure what is. Then my book club choice for January, which I'm more than halfway through actually. I tried to finish it this week for book club and failed. My book club actually meets early in the month, but the choice for this month was Butter by Asako Yuzuki, translated by Polly Barton, who, I'm sorry to say, Polly, I don't think you're watching my video, but the translation of this book is not great. And it's one of the things that I blame for slowing me down in the reading of this book. It's unfortunate. I will talk more about it when I do my wrap up for the month, but the topics and the themes that are explored in the book are super interesting. So the story is about a journalist who is aiming to interview a woman who has been imprisoned for killing multiple men. This woman is herself a chef. She's studied to be a chef. And every time this woman goes to meet with her, she talks about food and encourages her to cook in a certain way, particularly using butter, and encourages her to eat in a certain way. And it's actually quite interesting, the themes that are explored in the novel. I would say don't read it on an empty stomach. Maybe read it. It makes me hungry every time I read it. And I think the one thing that I'll be walking away with this one is the desire to try a lot more recipes and eat a lot more food cooked with butter. Speaking of lost in translation, I also completed Thursday Night Widows. I'm not sure if I spoke about this in another video or not, so I apologize if this is repetitive, but I am in a group that is reading all of Claudia Pineiro's works. And this particular translation of one of her earlier novels was not very good. And I think it really made an impact in terms of the reading experience for most of us reading this book. We debated about whether it was because of it being her first novel or not. And this is not a wrap-up video. I'm just including this here because I did read it, finish it in January, so I consider it. It's actually my first read of 2025. Started in December, but finished it in January. So this book opens in the community of Cascade Heights and is told from the perspective of one of the women who lives there. She is a realtor, and it does change voice throughout the novel. It's about the lives of the people who live in this wealthy gated community, and it's also about a series of mysterious deaths that are presented at the beginning of the story. 3 men, husbands, fathers, who were together one evening are found drowned at the bottom of the pool. And that's how the story begins. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'll talk about it when I do my wrap up. But the next book on the agenda for that reading group is Elena Knows, which I just finished reading and spoke about in my best books of 2024. So I'm probably not going to be rereading that one in January. I'll be taking a little break from that and focusing on other books. Next, I want to talk about the Ben Reads Good challenge hosted by Ben over at Ben Reads Good. So I did not join this challenge last year, but I kind of by happenstance joined it this year because the book that Lori and I chose to buddy read together is The Postcard by Anne Berest, and the prompt for January is to read a book by an Anne or with an Anne. Let me just see what the prompt says. It says, January, Annuary, read a book by an author called Anne. So it's specifically by an author called Anne. So just by happenstance, we are reading The Postcard. And that was before I realized that that was the prompt. I think it was the same prompt last year. But it's great because it means that I'm automatically participating in Ben's challenge, and I couldn't be more pleased with that. This I'm quite excited to get to. Again, I'm really hoping that the translation is good. This is translated by Tina Kover, and it's translated from the French, and it's about a mysterious postcard that arrives at the home. It starts out January 2003, and it says, together with the usual holiday cards, an anonymous postcard is delivered to the Berest family home. On the front, a photo of the Opera Garnier in Paris, and on the back, the names of Anne Berest's maternal grandparents, Ephraim and Emma, and their children, Noemi and Jacques, who were all killed in Auschwitz. Years after the postcard is delivered, the heroine of this novel is moved to discover who sent it and why. It sounds like it's going to be really good. I haven't started it yet. I have a commitment to read the first 70 pages this weekend, so I will be diving in this weekend. But I am excited to read this. I've heard really good things about it from various people as well. The other book that I'm so excited to read this month, I started it and then had to return it to the library. I really only read the first few chapters, then had to return it to the library, but it's back in the library. I'm picking it up today, and that's Evenings and Weekends by Ocean McKenna. This is about a group of friends in their 20s, all living in London, and it opens with a whale stranded in the Thames, and I think a lot of it revolves around these young people and their anxieties. Yeah, it sounds good. It seems good. Like I said, I only just started reading it, and there was a lot of hype about it over the summer, and I was hoping to read it in the summer and never got to it. And those are the books that I've chosen for my TBR, really trying to keep it modest for the time being. I know I have a stack of classics that I need to get to, but I'm going to hold off on my classics reading until February. In the meantime, I want to tackle my wrapped TBR, so I pulled one of the wrapped books from my shelf. I have no idea what it is. We're going to find out together. Very exciting stuff. I'm also going to pull one from my TBR jar. I really want to try to read books that I own that I didn't get to. I'm gonna have to do a mix of both. Oh, how exciting. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I'm sure this is gonna break my heart. I'm sure this is gonna be wonderful. This is a letter that is written by a son to his mother, and his mother can't read. And I believe he reads her this letter. So yeah, I have heard it's very beautiful, very touching. It also deals with race. It also deals with immigration, I think. It says, it's a brutally honest exploration of race, class, masculinity, and our current American moment. I don't know which current American moment this is. Probably not this current American moment, but a previous current American moment. So we shall see. And then I also want to pull one from my TBR jar. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that my shelves came crashing down during Hurricane Debbie. I had a leaky ceiling, leaky walls, and my shelf came crashing down with all my books on it. I am working on replacing those shelves and filming that video, but the hardware store is still out of the brackets for the shelves that I'm installing, which is really annoying. Anyway, when those come in, I'll finish my new bookshelf video and I will post it for you guys. That's one of the other projects that I'm tackling right now. All right, they seem to all be sticking together, which is super annoying. But here we go. I got one. Oh, okay. Well, this will be great. Our Endless, I don't know if you guys can see that, Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. Claire Fuller? Yeah, I think so. Let me grab it. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. Doesn't this look perfect for January? I have some kind of synchronicity happening around here. Ooh, it's so wintry, this book. Okay, so a few years ago, I discovered Claire Fuller and I read, what was her book that from a couple of years ago? Common Grounds, Uncommon Grounds. Anyway, it was so good. I kind of fell in love with her as an author. And then I read another book, Orange. Why can't I remember the titles of her books right now? Bitter Orange, which I didn't like as much. But this sounds good. Let me just read you the synopsis. In 1976, Peggy Hillcoat is 8. She spends her summer camping with her father, playing her beloved record of the Railway Children. Oh, I loved the Railway Children. And listening to her mother's grand piano, but her life is about to change. Her survivalist father, oh, here we go. Her survivalist father, who has been stockpiling provisions to prepare for the end of the world, takes her from London to a cabin in a remote European forest. Whoa. There he tells Peggy the rest of the world has disappeared. Oh my gosh, this sounds really good. She is not seen again for another 9 years. In 1985, Peggy has returned to the family home, but what happened to her in the forest, and why and how has she come back now? This sounds so good. I'm so happy I pulled that out of the jar. This is all very exciting. I think this is a fantastic stack of books for me for January. I'm actually really pumped now. Yay! Here we go. Excellent. I'm so excited. I better take a thumbnail. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye for now. It's been endorsed by a ton of people. Lauren Groff, Eleanor Catton, so many. Ian McEwen, by Asako, Friends and Enemies, and hosted by